Entry 6. He might be naked. I did it! I actually did it! Take that, self-doubt! And Kuna! He may not have said anything, but I could see his lack of faith in his eyes. Or, well, I. I haven't slept in 3 days. Or maybe I have, and it just feels like I haven't. I have been passing out a lot, but I wouldn't exactly call that sleep. Or like a forced system shut down. Ah! I'm awake! I am definitely awake. Awake. Good. Good. Here we go. Have you, the hypothetical person reading this, considered that Kuna is naked? Blobkuna, specifically, not the I don't want to picture it. What I'm trying to get at is that while Kuna doesn't have anything between, or I guess around the base of his body to be considered anything, he doesn't wear any clothes. It's all blob and nothing else. Considering his true incarnation had very little to cover him up, I kind of get that it shouldn't be an issue, but at least back then Kuna had pants. Where did they even come from? In retrospect, I'm questioning the strength of clothes because Gojo-sensei's shirt should have been minced 1,000 times over. Same with a lot of clothes. Are the clothes we wear cursed objects? I still have so many questions, and they all keep me up at night. I spent so many hours in bed just thinking about it. Kuna, the clothes, and then I start to feel bad. I'm keeping him indecent. I'm a monster. A monster! And don't tell me I shouldn't feel bad because Skuna would do the same if the roles were reversed, because that just proves my point. I don't want to be a monster. I should be saying didn't, past tense. It was because of that thinking that I put some old skills to use. I, like many energetic kids, ripped a lot of pants and clothes. Definitely had nothing to do with not knowing my own grip strength when getting my head stuck in a shirt or 12. And because we weren't made of money, my grandfather taught me how to fix my accidents. I'd like to think I'm pretty decent at sewing, even if I had to read up on a few things. A lot of things. Buying fabric and other supplies from the nearby craft store was simple enough. I also bought a plushie to use as my model since someone wasn't the most supportive assistant I could have. It was a round Frieza plush, by the way, and he was the most expensive part of the project, but it was worth it. I set my phone up to take pictures every once in a while of my process. I don't think Skuna caught on to what I was making until it came time to dress him up. I guess this works to his defense, since I kept it a secret until the big reveal. He was surprisingly okay with it. A lot of time was spent staring into the hand mirror I held up next to him. Some twisting and turning. I think he took issue with the bow. He tugged at it a lot, but he didn't tear it apart, so yay! I think the bow is great. If he didn't want a bow, he shouldn't have had such a cute bow to begin with. He's lucky I made him something based on his inner domain look and not, like, a maid outfit or some other cosplay. I mean, I still could. My confidence is soaring right now. I bet I could do anything if I put my mind to it. I'll either crash in a few minutes or plan out a dozen more outfits. Just you wait. I have the power of God and anime on my side. Entry 7. Doubling down. Let me preface this entry by saying that it was an accident. Nothing was premeditated or intended to go violently, and I 100% didn't expect or want the final result, but here we are. May I present to you Suku and Kuna. The Blobkuna has doubled. And no, this isn't a water made him multiply situation. If that were the case, the bathtub would have been overrun with these little not gremlins a few entries back. Blobkuna isn't a single-celled organism multiplying through mitosis either. Yeah, I did pay attention in class once in a while. No, I cannot tell you anything more beyond mitochondria being a powerhouse, and we love them for that. What happened was entirely my fault, but like I said, an accident. Accidents happen, and what matters is that we can learn from them. God, I sound like Gojo-sensei trying to justify his decisions to Nanami. Anyway, I was preparing dinner with Kuna since Fushiguro was running errands to restock the apartment when I wasn't paying attention to how slippery my hands were getting, and the cleaver I was using fell out of my hands. The cheap thing fell blade first to the ground, and instead of chopping my foot, it hit Kuna, perfectly centered, right down the middle. Fuck. I still can't believe it happened. The only reason it didn't hit me was because I felt the little guy crawling over my foot, something that shouldn't happen since he's usually perched in my hood or judging my technique on the countertop. When I say I screamed, I swear someone is going to call for some kind of wellness check on my dumbass one of these days. I was so stunned, I didn't even register the sound coming out of my mouth, and then when it stopped, I cried. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. If you've ever accidentally kicked a dog or stepped on a cat's toes because they were way too close and you weren't paying attention, God, this was way worse. I thought I had actually killed him. Just like that, snuffed out in my kitchen, all because of a stupid twitch of the arm. I was freaking out. Every stage of grief happened at once. The fact that it wasn't a bloody mess instead of the two sad, unmoving lumps I was left with was the only thing keeping me together. By the time I had noticed something was up with Skuna's remains, I had already begun scrambling to put whatever we had as an offering. It was a zombie blob. I mean, not really, but I was freaking out for a whole other reason when the remains started wiggling. Instead of merging back into one, each half recovered what it was missing through the weak amount of cursed energy they had left. They started moving independently, and now we have two, two Blobkunas. I am in twice as much trouble as I would have been before if I get caught now. Either it's time to come clean, or I double down on the secret. I'm sure there's at least one God who will listen to my prayers, right? Yeah. Uh, as a very sincere apology, I gave them some sliced pork belly strips, and uh, one was way more enthusiastic than the other. I was not prepared for the two blobs to be so different. They're the same person, blob thing. Shouldn't they act the same? It's not like they were raised any different. Unless the knife bounced and hit one on the head. No, that sounds stupid. It's a real good thing that I heal quickly and learned how to do it even quicker, or else people would be asking way too many questions. I actually forget that I can use the reverse curse technique a lot, hence all the band-aids. I'm just going through the motions that I'm used to. uh, at least one of the blobs seems friendlier than normal. That one gets to keep the nickname Kuna, because I think it sounds cuter. Don't tell Suku that. He'll get even angrier than he already is. Seriously, you can't really tell, but the twins are actually smaller than the original by a little bit. So much rage in such a tiny little body. I really can't keep using the jar for containment anymore. I just feel even worse about it, knowing that one would be crushed by the other inside. I guess it's time for an upgrade? Maybe a tank? Like the ones with heavy-duty latches for snakes. Oh, and I could even put things in it, like a hammock and blanket, maybe a small stuffed animal. Shit! I just realized I have to make more clothes for them. Luckily, Kuna and Suko are the same size, so I can use Kuna as a model for both. I'm sure he'd be more willing to help me out. The other one would probably chew through my fabrics. Wonderful. I'll be sure to record an update on that later. Yuji, over and out.